that no one may buy or sell except the one who has the mark of the beast. And if you cannot buy or sell, it means that you also cannot work. And if you find yourself in a position where you can no longer earn an income because you're standing on your faith and you're obeying God's commandments, remember that you're still better off heeding His warnings and being transformed by the renewal of your mind rather than conforming to the patterns and the pressure of this world. In this video, I'm going to share some ways that we can support one another through the tribulation and how we can prepare for the no mark, no work mandate. I'm Clarice, you're on the Live Ready channel. Revelation 13 verse 17 tells us that we'll not be able to buy or sell unless we have the mark of the beast. And being denied the right to continue working means that we're denied access to resources for a lack of income and a right of trade. And this starts to sound familiar, doesn't it? And I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this video have either lost their jobs due to standing on their faith and obeying God's commands, or know people who have lost their jobs for that exact reason. Now, if we cannot buy or sell, it means that we need to find an alternative method of acquiring resources so that we can provide for our families and survive. And this calls for an exercise in preparedness. And if we leave it to the last minute, we're setting ourselves up for hardship, so we need to start preparing now. So here are a couple of things that we can do in order to prepare. In my video about the mark of the beast, I said that we need to try and position ourselves in such a way that we can earn an income for as long as possible. And if that means changing jobs, and it's an option, then do that. If you're able to, try to set up a renewable way of acquiring food. Plant a vegetable patch in your back garden. Keep some ducks, rabbit, fish, so that you have an alternative source of protein if you're not able to buy food from the stores anymore. And while you're at it, try to harvest the seeds from those vegetables so that you're able to plant crops in future. And we know that at some point the One World Order is going to outlaw growing your own food. But until such a time, try to provide for yourself and your family. Learn how to hunt, fish, forage and trap so that you have other means of acquiring food from the wilderness if you're no longer able to buy from the stores. Keep foods such as preservatives like salt and vinegar so that you can store and preserve or pickle foods that are excess. Store as much of your finances as you can. Get used to not living or eating in excess, and cut down spending to necessities or preparation. Remember that at some point we're not going to be able to make use of the one world currency anymore and will not be part of the one world financial system. And fiat currency as well as cryptocurrency is probably going to be out of our reach. But storing currencies such as precious metals, silver, gold, jewelry, or trade goods that you can use to barter and trade with might be able to help you acquire resources. Try to get off the grid as far as possible so that if you're no longer able to pay for municipal services, that you'll still manage. Build a network of people in your area who you can trust and rely on to barter and trade with or to support one another. God is going to position some of us in places where we have access to resources so that we can distribute those resources to people in need. So support those who don't have access to resources, because you may well find yourself on the receiving end of that relationship in due time. For those who still have access to the workplace and an income, I want to give you a sincere warning. Do not become complacent, because what you think might be a safe haven now may soon turn out not to be. Don't find excuses not to prepare, and have a plan B, so that if you suddenly don't have an income anymore, that you still have access to resources. But remember that God doesn't take away to remove from us, He takes away to give us something better. So make sure that your family has all of the necessities that they need: warm clothing, shoes, medication, stored fuels for cooking and for travel in case you need to leave your home, as well as shelter options if you no longer have a home. Keep maps of the area and have a bug out location plan so that if you need to leave your home, you can find food, water and shelter in the wilderness. For those who cannot work or who currently find themselves without work, remember that you still have a skill and that you can use your skills for trade. Even if you're not compensated monetarily, you'll never lose your skills, knowledge, or expertise. And as much as we can barter trade goods, you can trade with your skills. Your skills are going to become more valuable now than ever. Whether you're in IT, a medical nurse, an engineer, or in any other profession, or have any other skills, a community of people will develop who will need those skills. And all of this will be an enormous adjustment as society and the economy that we know systematically excludes us. But don't be alarmed by this. And remember that Romans 12 verse 2 says that our body is a temple of God and we should present it as holy to Him. For that reason, we have a responsibility to preserve our bodies and not to take the mark of the beast. Look, I'm under no illusions that people are not going to be able to pay their mortgages, their children's school fees, or that we're not going to be able to buy food. But we need to understand that at some point we're going to need to let go of our possessions, but it's only going to be for a time. And we might even lose our homes in that time. The book of Daniel tells us that it will be for a time, times, and half a time, approximately 3.5 years, the duration of the Great Tribulation. In Matthew 24, Jesus tells us that that period will be cut short, otherwise nobody would survive it. So don't be dismayed by this. Remember that it's only going to be for a period of time, after which Jesus will set up a new heaven and a new earth, and our lives will be restored to more than we had before. I'm going to post all of the scriptures that I've mentioned in this video in the description to this video, so you can go and do some further reading. I'll also post some gear links there to help you on your journey to preparedness, to packing a bug-out bag, and to be more self-reliant. I hope that this video has given you a bit of hope and that it made you realize that God has prepared a place in the wilderness for us. He has got a plan. Until the next time, live ready.